Hello, today I'm going to be demoing the Magswitch E-30 demo kit. What you're seeing in front of you is the magnetic gripper from Magswitch. The E-30 version has a 30 millimeter diameter magnet. It comes with a demo box with an HMI inside the demo box is DC power supply, a couple breaker switches, some cable connections, things like that. You do have a 120 volt power connection here. You have a CAN open cable that communicates to the Magswitch, and then you also have an Ethernet connection. We're not going to be using the Ethernet today. So we're going to power this unit on. And the first thing you'll notice on the Magswitch unit, you're going to have two LEDs that are blinking. You've got a green LED and a blue LED. The blue LED is a ready symbol, and the green LED is a indicator for when the magnet is on or off. So the first thing you need to do is home the Magswitch. So I'm basically going to just set this up here, and on the screen here there's a home Magswitch button, so I'm going to click this, and so now we get an output that says Magswitch ready. So we have a blue ready light, and the green indicator is off, meaning the Magswitch is in the off state right now, so there's no magnetism in the pole shoes here. So I've got some metal plates, so you can kind of just test it here to see if it's picking up anything because it's in the off condition. So what I've done here is I've got 3 metal plates I'm going to be using here today to kind of show how this magnet works. This magnetic gripper, the E-30, meaning electric controlled, there's no air with this unit. This unit is very unique in the fact that it has what's called a variable field output. And so if you could imagine a servo motor or a stepper motor being able to turn the magnet on or off in a variable situation. So instead of turning the magnet on at 100% or off at 0, you can actually vary the percentage of the magnet strength as you turn it on or off. So you could turn it on at, say, 10% or 20%, or turn it on at full 100%, and it allows you to do things like destacking, and that's one of the things we're going to show today. So I've got my 3 plates here, and these are just pieces of 4" by 4" carbon steel plates, probably anywhere around 18 to 20 gauge thickness, and going to stack them right here. So the magnetic gripper has pole shoes. These are factory pole shoes that come with the unit that are supplied with the demo unit, I mean. So what we're going to show here is right now we've got a couple buttons here. We've got Magswitch full on, we've got full off, and then I'm also going to show how we can do a partial on condition, which is what makes this this unit so unique. So if I make contact with the metal plates and I do a turn Magswitch full on, so one thing you'll notice is the LED now changed. You have the green LED, which is on solid. So when the green is solid, that means that the magnet is fully on. And so when I pick this unit up, you're going to notice that all 3 plates here are held fairly secure. I can kind of move it around, and none of them are going to be trying to take off and come disconnected from the magnet. So I can also turn it off, and the LED the green LED is off and now I'm not holding any parts. So if I want to say pick up one of the parts off the stack, what I can do here is you have what's called a requested position, where you can change the variable frequency of the magnet. So I'm going to type in 25% because I know that in the past tests that I've done, that 25% is basically enough to pick up the first sheet. So I'm going to type in 25. I'm going to click OK. And then the other thing you have to do is you have to click the enable required position. So now that that's on, I can actually do a full on. So now it's fully on, picking up all 3 sheets like we did earlier. But when I turn this off, it's going to go to partial on. So now what you'll notice is you have the blinking green LED that's actually saying the magnet's on, but it's not on in full 100%. So when I pick this up, what you're going to notice is it's got one sheet that's picked up. Now this is obviously very loose. So the design or the thinking is that you pull it up off the stack enough to destack or separate from the rest of the pieces. And then once you get it off the stack, let's say if this was a robot end of arm tool or something similar, once you get it removed from the stack, then you can go ahead and switch it to full on. And then when it's fully on, you can see it's much stronger, and then you could wrap it to a position or drop off or a handover or some other, design type of tool. So I'm going to come back on to 25%. And you can notice how it's still going to be able to hold just one sheet. So let's turn this off. So another nice feature that I want to show you here is under this Learning tab, you have the ability to set up a output for part detection. And why this is important is, so let's say you do pick up one piece and you want to verify that it does only have one part or 2 parts or whatever your thickness of metal is desired. You can actually do a learning or a teaching procedure here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one sheet and I'm going to learn this one sheet. I'm going to teach it. So I want to come back to my control and I actually want to turn it on to full. So now it's fully on. And if I go to my Learning tab, I've already learned it earlier, so that's why you have a learn complete, but I'm gonna learn it again. I say cancel learn and then do a simple learn. And the ready light's flashing and it's basically learning the part, and now it's solid. It's gonna give you a learn complete output. So why this is important is when the Magswitch on the E-30 unit is in full on condition, it will give you a part present as an output. So you can verify that even though your system was picking up at 25% or whatever percentage you needed to get one piece off the stack, you do indeed only have one part present, and I'll show you how this works. So if we come back to our control here and we go fully off, so now it's fully off, and I'm going to bring in my other sheets here. And then I'm going to go to my requested 25%, my variable field. So now we're fully on. So there's all 3 just to make sure that still works. But if I go to partial on, now I can separate that one piece from the stack. Now, we're not going to get the output while it's in partial mode. That's something that happens when you put it into fully on mode. So you'll notice right here, my part present is not on. But if I come back here to control, and I go to full on, so now the Magswitch is fully on. I come back to my learning tab. Notice I have part present. So I'm going to show how this might be helpful in a real condition. So I'm going to come back here, turn the magnet off. Okay, so let's say that for some reason you had a mechanical or some kind of oil residue, or maybe some kind of natural vacuum between some sheets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some pieces of tape under the second sheet, and I'm actually going to tape the top sheet to it. So I'm going to act like this was mechanically connected to the top sheet. So in other words, if I wanted to turn on my 25%, which I will do right now. So now I'm partially on. And if I pick up from this stack, so now I'm only picking up the one sheet, but because I taped the bottom to it, let's say you had some oil residue that was causing the sheet to stick. When you do go fully on, now the Magswitch is fully on, and then we go to the learning tab. Notice how my part present is off. So what you're doing is you've learned the magnetic field of what one sheet would be, and the fact that it has double that thickness now, it's not going to give you an output. So once you do destack or pull the part off the stack, this is your countermeasure for detecting that even though I'm only using 25%, I want to verify that actually I'm only picking up one part. So if I take this tape off this bottom piece here, and I pull it off that part, now you're going to notice my part present turned back on. So that's a nice feature to have. Okay. So let's try something else. So let's say now I want to pick up 2 sheets off the stack. So if I come back to my requested position and I change this value here, come on fingers, instead of 25, I'm going to say 50%. Say OK. And now I'm going to go to partial on. There's my partial on. So now if I'm careful, I can actually pick up 2 sheets. So there's 2 sheets here. And if I want to, on the fly, say pick up 2 sheets, but I realize that I want to drop off a sheet somewhere else, I can actually move to another position and go back to 25%, hit OK, and I just dropped off that 1 sheet. So this is kind of something neat that we can talk to customers about, because the way the tooling's been done in the past is you typically have, say, an operator or some kind of pick and place device that's picking up one part and feeding it into a machine or a robot or something like that, one part at a time. So now you have the ability to do multiple parts at a time. So I think it's really going to change kind of the thinking of how equipment's designed and handled and processed, say in a robot cell or some kind of metalworking process. So let's turn this off. There. Okay, so back to the learning tab. So there's another learn called a multi-step learn. You might want to know what that's about. If your material to be picked up has a lot of variability in it, meaning that you either have not flat surfaces, radius, cavities, things like that, or maybe the thickness of your metal is different, you could actually do what's called a multi-step learn, which actually gives you more of a window of a teach or a learn instead of just a simple on-off. So my samples here are very basic. They're flat sheet metal pieces. There's not much variability in them. But if you wanted to do that process, it would walk you through teaching the high level of your window and your low level. So back to our control. All right. So if you wanted to change, say, this value here, let's go back and let's change this to 75%. So we know that 75 should pick up all three. There's our partial on. Well, here we'll turn it on fully. So now it's fully on still. There's our 3 sheets. And partially on, it should pick up all 3 of these, yeah. So we can pick up actually 50. It should fall off. Oh, it didn't fall off. Yeah, there we go. Had a little bit of a, there we go. It's a little bit of a material problem there. So there we go. So this demo that you see here today is, good for taking to a customer because you don't have to be, in a production environment with an end of arm tool. This box is fairly easy to carry around. This is not an actual, application that's going to be in a production environment. This Turk HMI has a integrated PLC that's running code assist that's talking to the Magswitch via CAN open. In a real world environment, there's something very similar. It's not an HMI, but it's a Turk CAN open master. Looks sort of like a BALIF or an IFM or something like that. And it has the ability to be mounted directly on the tool, and it can have multiple Magswitch E units connected to it. So it's not just one. You can actually have a daisy chain of, I believe, up to 10. But this unit that you see here today was just a demonstration to show the variable field output with the E-series. Very nice feature, and thank you for your time.